She walked into a children's hospital wearing the exact same white dress she wore to Wimbledon back in 2019, and by the end of the day, the internet was calling her the most trusted royal on the planet. And honestly, once you hear what actually happened inside those hospital walls, you will understand exactly why. This is the story of Princess Kate's return to Evelina London Children's Hospital, her first visit there since December of 2023. And trust me, the timing of this visit is not a coincidence, so stick around because the reason behind it is more emotional than you think. Before we go further, if you enjoy stories that go beyond the tabloid noise and actually explain what is really happening with the royal family, go ahead and subscribe right now because we are about to unpack why this particular hospital visit is being called one of the most meaningful royal moments of the year. So, here is the setup. Back in December 2023, Kate visited this same hospital as a fairly routine royal engagement. Nobody knew that just weeks later, her entire world would change. According to reports, she underwent planned abdominal surgery in January of 2024, and what was initially believed to be a non-cancerous condition turned out to be something far more serious. In March of that year, she revealed in a video statement that she was receiving preventative chemotherapy, and if you remember that period, the entire country, honestly, the entire world was holding its breath for updates. Fast forward to January of 2025, Kate announced she was officially in remission. That alone felt like a massive sigh of relief for millions of people who had been following her journey. But here is where it gets interesting, because remission does not mean the story ends. It means a completely new chapter begins, and this hospital visit on July 6th is proof of exactly that. Now, why does this specific visit matter so much? Kate has been patron of Evelina London Children's Hospital since 2018, so this is not some random photo opportunity. This is a place she has personally supported for almost a decade. But this time, she is not just the patron. She is a woman who has now personally sat through chemotherapy, who understands what it means to wait for test results, who knows what it feels like when a hospital corridor becomes a second home. According to reports from those present, she toured the Edward Ward, where children are treated for heart and lung conditions, and she also visited a newer outpatient unit that opened earlier this year for young cardiac patients. She spoke with pediatric cancer specialists about a major expansion, a new treatment center being built in partnership with the Royal Marsden, which, according to reports, is the very hospital where Kate herself received treatment. Let that sink in for a second. She was literally standing in a hospital discussing the expansion of care for children with the same type of illness she battled herself at the very institution connected to where she was treated. That is not just royal duty. That feels personal. And if you ask me, that is exactly why this visit is hitting differently than her usual public appearances. Here is a small moment that reportedly melted the internet. A 10-year-old boy at the hospital, reportedly named Arjun, apparently mistook her for the Queen. According to reports, when he asked if she was the Queen, Kate smiled and gently corrected him, telling him she was the Princess of Wales. The boy then reportedly shared that he had been waiting to meet her, to which she reportedly responded with genuine warmth, something along the lines of finding that incredibly kind of him. Now, I don't know about you, but there's something almost funny and also strangely wholesome about a future queen getting mistaken for the actual queen by a 10-year-old who clearly does not care about royal titles. He just wanted to say hello. Kids really do have zero filter, and honestly, it is refreshing. Another child reportedly blew her a kiss, and according to multiple outlets, she was seen exchanging warm smiles and small gifts with several young patients throughout the visit. These are small moments, sure, but when you add them up, they paint a picture of someone who is not just performing a royal duty, she genuinely seems to enjoy being there. And that brings us to the bigger question everyone is asking. Why is Kate suddenly being called the children's princess, and why does the public seem to trust her more now than maybe ever before? Here is my honest take, and this is just my opinion, so take it as you will. In an era where a lot of public figures feel curated, scripted, and distant, Kate's willingness to talk openly, even briefly, about how cancer changes the way you think and feel creates a rare kind of connection.
She is not hiding behind palace statements anymore. She is showing up in person at the same kinds of hospitals where families are going through the exact fear she once faced, and that authenticity is honestly hard to fake.
Whether you are a royal fan or someone who generally could not care less about the monarchy, there is something universally relatable about a parent, a patient, a person choosing to walk back into the world that once scared her in order to comfort strangers going through something similar. Now, let's talk about what is coming next, because this visit was not just about comfort, it was also about expansion. According to reports, the hospital's charitable arm is hoping to raise a significant amount toward a brand new building, one that would include advanced scanners, updated operating theaters, and more patient beds, all set to open sometime in the early 2030s. This means the ripple effect of Kate's visit goes beyond a single afternoon of smiles and photographs. It is tied to a long-term project that could change pediatric cancer and cardiac care for children across southern England for years to come. And if her presence helps drive attention and funding toward that goal, then this visit becomes about a lot more than just good publicity. It becomes about actual impact. Of course, it would not be royal reporting without a little bit of eyebrow-raising detail, so here's a fun one for you. Kate reportedly wore the same white Susanna shirt dress she wore to Wimbledon back in 2019. Whether that was a deliberate fashion choice or simply a case of a busy royal reaching for something comfortable and familiar in her closet, we honestly cannot say for certain. But either way, royal fashion accounts online had a field day analyzing it within minutes of the photos going public. So where does this leave us? Kate's cancer journey, from a shocking diagnosis in early 2024 to remission in early 2025 to now actively supporting the very type of hospital care that once supported her, is quietly becoming one of the more compelling personal narratives in modern royal history. It's not loud, it's not dramatic in the tabloid sense, but it is consistent. And consistency, especially after a public health scare, tends to build a very particular kind of trust with people. My honest opinion, for what it is worth, is that this is exactly the kind of visibility that turns a public figure into someone people genuinely root for, not because of a title, but because of lived experience translated into visible action. Whether Kate's continued hospital visits will directly influence the fundraising outcome for this new pediatric building remains to be seen, and that is honestly a story worth following as it develops. If this kind of behind-the-headlines royal storytelling is something you want more of, make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss the next update, because if the pattern of the last few months tells us anything, Princess Kate's next public appearance is probably closer than you think.